Welcome back to Cross-Cultural Negotiations, Cross-Cultural Communications. I'm again Professor Shanwatz. Today we have a special guest lecturer, visiting professor, Dr. Rajesh. He is not only a fellow professor in India, which is a very high standing, but he's also been a professor in Bangladesh. I believe currently he's a professor in Mexico. So not only is he teaching about this topic, but he's working and negotiating with people internationally as a regular part of his life. So I hope today you give a warm welcome to Professor Rajesh. Professor Rajesh, would you like me to control the PPT, or did you want to control the PPT yourself online?
I want to control my PPT. I want to control my PPT, Professor C.
You're able to control and show your files now. Please feel free to show your files.
Okay, that's fine. Guys, good morning from India.
Can you make this a little bit bigger? Maybe hide the top part. If you double click on home, it will make it a little bit bigger and easier to see. Thank you. So again, welcome everybody on behalf of KMM University and our group of cross-cultural communications specialists. We should give a warm welcome to Dr. Rajesh Ranjan.
Yeah, thanks Professor Steve and thanks Ms. Hua, and very good morning to all our friends. My Professor Rajesh Ranjan from India. So today we are going to discuss intercultural negotiation context. So all who are aware about now world converted into a global village due to technological changes, due to advanced technology, due to faster communication. Now all who are aware about world becomes or converted in a global village. So this is a big challenge for marketer and for companies. So how to negotiate? Because nowadays each and every company, each and every corporate want to negotiate like acquisition, merger, takeover, partnership. These are the entities various practicing during the corporate and industry. So not a single company and not a nation without intercultural negotiations, it is very difficult to survive and grow. This is the only truth. Suppose take an example. If some company want to enter in global market, so they definitely or must go for the negotiation. Because without negotiations, how we are able to enter in global market? Not possible. Ms. Hua and friends, am I audible clearly?
Yes, we can hear you. Thank you.
Great. Okay, Professor C. So what is the means of intercultural negotiation? So first I want to very clear about intercultural. So when talking about intercultural, so this is nothing but the group of different culture, group of many cultures. Suppose take an example, we are living in India, you are South Korea, someone from Belgium, someone from different country. So definitely all nations, all region having different types of different set of culture. So this is the broader means of intercultural. And what about negotiations? All you are aware, negotiations is nothing but reaching on a mutual agreement. This is the means of negotiation, and this is the whole objective of the negotiation. Unless, how actually we say, we successfully negotiate with it. We successfully negotiate with them. It means we, both the parties, both the entities reach on mutual agreement. That is the means of negotiation. So intercultural negotiations means we sit with diverse culture, diverse background, and come on the mutual agreement. This is the means of intercultural negotiation. So yeah, this is very relevant topic considering now world. So we are going to discuss one by one. This is example. Suppose how we say intercultural negotiation. There are different people having different cultural background. Suppose someone from India, someone from South Korea, someone from Britain, someone from US. So it means we can say this is a group of intercultural. Then only we can claim intercultural. Suppose people seated, all people belong to South Korea, all people belong to India, all people belong to single nation. We can't claim or we can't say this is intercultural. So when we sit in a diverse background cultural people, then we can claim intercultural negotiation. So this image, this photograph, indication of intercultural negotiation, how the climate, how the environment. So these are the topics and these are the objectives of the presentation of this topic. So definitely after completion of the session of this topic, our students will able to understand elements of cross-cultural and other things also. So these are the few points. These are all are important cross-cultural negotiation component. So one by one, we will going to discuss. First, we will go to discuss about negotiations. So all who are aware, what is negotiations? Negotiations is not only part of the corporate world. Negotiations is not only part of industry. Negotiations is also crucial or part of diplomacy. So negotiation having very broader meaning, corporate, industry, diplomacy also. But ultimate goal, ultimate objective of negotiations is to reach on common or mutual agreement. That is the success of negotiation. If suppose one party, I represent to a company from India and you represent to company from South Korea, and when we sit for negotiation, so what is the means? What is the objective? It means both the party feel they are the winner. Both the party feel. Suppose take an example, if one party feel winner and other party feel loser, this is not a good negotiation style. So negotiations should be like that. Both the entities, both the party feel like winner. This is the mutual agreement. This is the whole objective of the negotiation. So these are the various elements. When you sit for the negotiation, you must consider these are the various elements. Agreement, because this is the objective of the negotiation. Skills, definitely negotiation is not very simple task, not very simple. Specifically, when you sit for intercultural negotiation, then this is very challenging, not simple. So you must have certain or necessary skill set, how to negotiate, how to communicate. So communicate and tactics, all who are aware, tactics is also crucial part of negotiation. How you frame your tactics, contract, collaboration, and after this move. This is the basic elements of the negotiation. So first, very important, as this topic, intercultural or cross-cultural. both having the same meaning. Intercultural means also group of different culture. Cross culture means group of different culture, many culture. So cross cultural negotiations, when we going to discuss, definitely we should consider these are the important factors. These are important factors of cross cultural negotiation. Players and the situation, cultural knowledge, national character, power and authority, perception. So these are the different factors you should consider when we sit for the cross-cultural negotiation. So let us one by one, we will discuss different. So all you are aware, greater the difference, wider the difference between culture, wider the difference between culture, the greater the likelihood that miscommunicate would result in negative outcome. Suppose wider, this is the very narrow difference between culture. Suppose take an example, many nations or many corporate having same culture. Suppose take an example, India, Bhutan, Nepal, like that, something having same culture like that, just friendly environment. So this is very narrow difference between the culture. Okay. So there are wider scope for negotiation, but when we're talking about some different country, having wider difference in the culture, so definitely chances of negative outcomes will be more. So this is the whole exercise. When you discuss with the same culture, chances of successful result outcome, positive outcome will be more. When we sit for cross-cultural negotiation with wider difference, then chances of negative outcomes will be more. So here that is the big challenge. So definitely players and the situation is very important, very much important. What are the players? What are their negotiating style? What are their communication style? What are their hierarchy? What are their profile? What are their educational background? These all are the factors have matter. So these are the players. If you sit with highly experienced negotiators, so definitely you have necessary skill set, necessary style. Then only you will talk and defend your points. Otherwise, it is very difficult. But again, it is very important as we discuss actually intercultural negotiation. So try to understand. When I belong to India, I do not know South Korean language. I do not know Spanish. Okay. I do not know French. And if I assign to negotiate with delegates from South Korea, so how I will talk, how I will communicate. So definitely here, local person who actually translate or interpret the language required. So when actually you sit with different or cross-cultural people, so definitely if possible or convenient to have a local person in your team. They actually initially introduce you, make translation, explanations of cultural difference. These are the various jobs performed by the local person. So this is the role of player and the situation. So this is looking like they are the player and this is the situation. So now I have question to the students. So tell me, what is the situation here?
Looks like they're having a coffee break, if that's what you're asking me.
No, I am talking, this is a question for us. I have written a question in chat box. While looking this image, and a friend say, what is the environment? What is the situation on this negotiation table? This is the question to our students. So can you say, our students?
Hey, Jules or Yasser, can you comment? What do you see is this situation? What does this situation look like to you?
Well, it looks like they're having a negotiation, but I guess from the face of that guy, maybe they don't speak the same language. He's trying so hard to explain what his mean, I guess.
Okay, Maria, what do you see in front of you? What does this situation look like to you?
For me, apparently, it's like the guy with like his hands up is trying to negotiate something. Like he's the interested person, and the other ones are the one listening to him to see if they will agree with the negotiation or not.
Okay. Any special focus that you would like to talk about, Rajesh, Dr. Rajesh?
Yeah, exactly. All both her friends' views, opinion is very excellently. They actually explain the images. All right. Exactly. So this is the situation. They sit on the negotiation table for discussion. So how will be the climate and how is the situation here? Take an example. If all the people, all the negotiator, all the parties feel pleasant, feel friendly environment, so it is very easy for other party to comment, to express their opinion. So it is a responsibility of the negotiator, all the parties mostly. So behave like friendly environment or create an friendly environment so that all the parties, all the negotiators convince, communicate or put their points and reach on the mutual agreement. So yeah, very good observation. So this is the players and the situations. So players should be highly skilled, highly expertise, and having necessary skill set for the negotiation. Again, we will discuss in later slides. And situation should be friendly. That is very much important. So of course, very good observation, Ashwin sir. One very important thing when talking about players, all you are aware, different country actually having very means a hierarchy is very much important. Suppose take an example, if I assign to negotiate with some company in South Korea, some company representative Germany, and I have to sit with CMD, Chief General Manager. So definitely representing company from India, that guys also belongs or have same positions like that, equal positions. This is the means of hierarchy. This means of player. Suppose take an example, if you are going to sit with chairman, so your position should be like that chairman. Otherwise, people not feel serious, not feel happy. They feel you are not serious for the negotiation. So as this is a small example here actually, as Malaysians say, match eagles with eagles. So this is the means of negotiation. If you are going to negotiate with top people, so your positions or profile should be like that. Then only your opposition or other negotiator take you easy and serious. Otherwise, they don't take you serious. And negotiation not possible. So this is the players and the situation. And one very important thing, specifically talking about intercultural negotiation, so different culture having different types of beliefs, different types of people, different types of habits, and all having different meaning, different meaning. So this is considered as cultural nuance. Suppose take an example in India, how you greet the people, how you greet the people. This is a very humble style in India. Okay, this is a very humble style in US and other country. Okay, handshake. This is a very humble style. So non-verbal messages, how you act, what is your body language, what are your facial expression. These all are considered as cultural nuance. Non-verbal messages also, body language also, how you sit. Suppose take an example, just I am showing, this is the sitting style. Okay, in India, this is not considered very good. Am I looking? You are able to see my hand?
You look relaxed or very powerful.
Yeah. So that I am saying, actually in India, when we sit for negotiation, this is not actually a very friendly posture. This actually indicates some arrogance, this type. So this is non-verbal messages. If you seated or I seated like that during negotiation in India, so this is not good. This is considered as cultural noise. Okay, so you should avoid. So non-verbal messages also, body language also, even a space. Suppose take an example, if I am sitting here, okay, and another negotiator seated 10 feet from mine or far away, 10 feet or 2 meters far away from me. What it indicates? It indicates we maintain distance from other party. So this is not good. How closer seating arrangement, that also indication of closeness. If I have chair here and some other person sitting behind or very close to me, what it indicates? It indicates I want very close relationship with them, with that guy, that person. So a space also matters. Gift giving, how you actually giving the gift. Okay. So gift content also, gift packaging also, wrapper. Okay. These all are considered as cultural nuance. So definitely when you sit for negotiations with different culture, you should be very careful about cultural nuance. Suppose take an example. I said, I have given example of this. Suppose you are coming to India for negotiation, you never try to sit like that. Otherwise, not possible to reach on mutual agreement. Because people say you are very arrogant and you do not want to negotiate. Just your expression is not negotiation. So when you, why actually this is important to discuss, when you sit or going some country, different culture, so definitely you should understand culture there. What is the culture? What is the belief? And you should try to act like that. Otherwise, considered as cultural noise. Even many company, when you are sitting for the negotiation, so you are aware, if you criticize your competitor, if you criticize competitor's product, this is not considered as good. This is also not considered as good. So you should avoid, you should focus on your agenda only. No need to divert. This is considered as cultural noise. This is the images. This is the question to the students. Can you give your opinion how you looking? Any cultural noise there? Tell me. What is the situation here? Our students?
Rosie, do you see any cultural noise in this picture? Or Jules, do you see any cultural noise in this picture?
Can I say something?
Sure, please.
Yeah. Yeah.
For example, the girl on the left that has her arm on the table and she's resting her head on her arm on her hand. For me, that's like she's a little bit bored, or that she's not paying much attention. I believe. I feel like that.
Okay,
Yeah. Any other reference?
Can I add a comment?
Yeah.
Well, I kind of think differently than what Maria spoke. Well, the woman in the middle, she's looking at the girl on the left, and I think they are the two communicating at the moment. So maybe her hand on chin, under her chin, and the posture toward to the girl to the center. I think that's like she's listening carefully from the girl in the center.
Good. Any opinion, especially you found any cultural noise?
do you see any cultural noise, any issues here?
Can I answer?
Yes, go ahead.
I think that the girl in the middle might be some cultural noise because she's sitting at the head of the table, which is like in some cultures that can be seen as like an authority spot at the table. So that could like have some like authority tension instead of making it like a friendly atmosphere. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Very good. Any other reference?
Or yes, good. Any other noise, cultural noise you see here?
And then the guy on the left, the long hair guy, not the right one, on the left, like this one, this side.
Okay,
That guy looks like he's not like paying attention that much, because he's like sitting and like
Good. Any other reference? Want to make comment? Any other reference? Want to make comments?
I'm not sure if it is related to the cultural things, but it is interesting to see the middle. The woman is the only one who's taking coffee, but the others are having just water.
Exactly. Good. Very good observation. Yeah. So any other reference? Okay, good. Very good observations you have.
Can I sorry.
Yeah.
Can I add
Yeah,
something?
please. Yeah, please.
From what he just said, I feel like the girl in the middle is the like the receiving negotiator, and the four of other people are visiting, like they came to negotiate with her. I guess she's the head of some like company or something.
Exactly. Very good observation. Yeah.
another issue with cultural noise, we see this seems to be an office space, probably a closed office. And this idea of negotiating in a closed, high-level office is popular in certain cultures like North America versus this being closed. In the Middle East, for example, many negotiations take place outside, almost like in a cafeteria where people are walking back and forth inside. They are saying culturally in North America, we give you VIP treatment by keeping other people out, versus many places in the Middle East, they say, we are so proud to have you here. We want to show you to everyone, and we have nothing to hide. So in the Middle East, a lot of negotiations are in wide open spaces. So that is another part of cultural noise that you may not even realize if this is a normal setting for you. So
Yeah,
please.
exactly, Professor Singh. So our friends have very good observation, specifically when looking this image. So definitely this indicates some cultural noise. First one, actually, that lady actually sitting in the middle. Actually, she looked like boss of the means she looked like a boss. So this is not good posture for negotiations. Actually, when you sit for the negotiation, so definitely each and everyone feeling like equal, feeling like same personality, feeling equality. Then only other guys, other people, other negotiators put their emotion. And second observation, one of friends also pointed, she actually have coffee, other only have water. So this is also considered as cultural wise. Specifically, when you come to India for negotiation, this is considered as cultural wise. Try to understand. If you have coffee in this like coffee mug or coffee glass cup, so definitely all parties, all members should be served coffee like that glass or cup only. Even not difference in cup or glass. Okay. This also considered very cultural wise, especially in India. If have chairs, so all chairs should be same. Okay. If you have one chair, some different, okay, other chairs have different. So this is also considered as cultural wise. Okay. So good. Professor Sin also explained very well. And yeah, our students also having very good observation. Okay. So that actually mainly negotiation table will be either round, either oval shape. Okay. And how this can be okay, actually, if sit for negotiation, if middle lady actually she is boss of the company, and if she negotiating with some another company, so in front of her one chair should be in front of her, and her counterpart, like if she is the boss, so her actually counterpart will be seated in front of her. Then we can consider this is not cultural noise. Otherwise, this is considered as cultural noise. So this is not indication of very good negotiation situations and very good negotiation style. This is not considered. So good, very good observation. All were aware, we have discussed cultural wise, so all were aware different nation having different culture. I have given example, India, South Korea. So different nation having different culture. When you go or come for the negotiation, so definitely you should be aware about the national culture. Which nation you are going to discuss? Your what is the nationality of other negotiator? So these all have matter. So you should consider. All were aware. Suppose many countries, US, South Korea, Japan, India, these are very punctual and value the times. Okay. So when you coming or sitting for negotiation with these people, so you should be punctual on time. And of course, power and authority, we have already discussed in persons, because when you sit for the negotiation, so who is the influential person? All were aware, I am giving a live example. In 1999, I'm talking about 1999, all were aware or not aware. Have you listened about Tata organization? This is a question to our friends also. Tata organizations, I am writing in chat box. Just a moment. Have you listened? This is a question to our friends. Tata.
Yeah, the leading corporate group of India.
Yeah, exactly. So might be you are aware in 1999, Ratan Tata, who is the chairman of Tata Sons, okay, went for deal with Ford Motors. Okay, deal actually in 99, Ratan Tata car business was not actually going well. So they want to sell their car business. Okay. And they went to America. Okay. For discussing with Ford Motors CMD or chairman. Okay. What actually there happened? 3 hours lengthy meeting, but chairman of Ford Motor not able to recognize who is Ratan Tata. Okay. They had just insulted, humiliated Ratan Tata. They said, if you do not know to sell the car, why are you making car? So I am going to purchase your car business for only helping you. For only helping you. And Ratan Tata felt very humiliated and returned back without selling his business. So this is the power and authority. How actually Ford chairman think on that? Just Ratan Tata only coming for begging. Yeah, you will purchase my car business. Okay, just like that. But on the other hand, might you aware in 2006, Ratan Tata actually purchased the Land Rover Jaguar brand from Ford Motor. You are aware or not? You are aware or not? Our students?
Yes, I am.
Yeah. So what actually power and authority? You should know who is the actual power. Where is the actual authority? In this way, you should discuss and talk with the people. Suppose take an example, people looking very ordinary, but he is very closer to the top boss. So definitely, if they don't have official authority, but definitely have power to influence. Is it or not? So when you negotiate or sit for negotiation, you should very careful about this. So power and authority is also very important for negotiation. You have necessary power authority to sign the document, sign the legal documents. Then only you can take decision. Suppose take an example, you are sitting on negotiation table, but you don't have signing authority. You do not have decision authority. Decision authority, someone sitting in India, okay, headquarters. So when actually a signed delegation for negotiation, they must have necessary authority for signing the document. All were aware, perception also playing very crucial role for negotiations. Just I have given example, why I have given example of Ratan Tata and Ford Motor chairman, Mr. Ford. You are aware why I give an example. Actually, during that time, they might be actually US is very developed nations, and Ford Motor is world leading company, world leading brand. So they might be think during that time, Ratan Tata is very ordinary man, and just he is coming in my office for begging, not for negotiation. This is the perception of Ford Motor chairman during that time. Okay. If his perception into Ratan Tata is also conglomerate chairman of Tata Sons, definitely their behavior was some different. But during that time, perception is like that Ratan Tata is ordinary man and he came here for begging, just sell their car business. And I am the purchaser, so I am the king. So this is not good. Okay. So perception having also very crucial role. How to actually talk with the people. And as I said, actually, as I said, when you want many nation or many country or many culture having different types of perception. Suppose take an example here actually mentioned in Japanese. If you come alone or single person, so they say might be, you are not serious for negotiation. You come with large delegate, okay, more number of people, so they feel you are very serious for negotiation. So perception is also very much important. And already we have discussed, this is well known, interpreters and translators. This is also well known because everyone or every person not proficient in different cultural language and different nations belief. Okay, suppose I do not know South Korean language and when I come there for negotiation, so how I will communicate with the people? Not possible. So definitely here role of interpreters and translators are very much important, crucial. But you should be very careful. Only you can't hire or you have people just like interpreter and translator. Okay. When you hire interpreters and translators for your team during negotiation, so you must shortlist or have the people with certain skills also other than their translation skill. Their maturity also important. Suppose take an example, all you are aware, facial expressions and feeling also have matter, not only word, not only wording. Suppose my feeling is something, I want to say that, okay. I want to say that, okay, 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 having different sense, different means, okay. So how actually interpreter and translator my words with my feeling, with my emotions also, that is very much important. Not only word translation, okay. So when you have interpreter and translator in your team, so you should be very careful. You should hire the people have certain maturity, certain skill set, they able to translate language with your emotion, with your feelings also. So good. And of course, this is well known, women as international negotiator. Nowadays, each and every negotiation table must be accompanied by a woman. Previously, actually, around 100 years back, 200 years back, many countries are not in much tradition. But now, society means majority of the nations actually accepted women power. They are highly intellectual, highly skilled, highly knowledgeable. So they must have in a team. So apart from technical skill, technical knowledge, a skill, women having certain other skill set also. Suppose they able to actually, they have very good skill to understand facial expression. They have also very good skill or expertise to understand body language. So that will be helping during negotiation. So yeah, of course, nowadays actually many countries, India, all developed countries must have women for their negotiation team. So good. So this is the example, how actually they feel. Can a friend say about this photograph comment? How you correlate with women negotiator? What are their role here? Tell me. Our friends, can you comment on this image?
Rosie, any comments from you about what you see is the woman? What is the woman's position in this picture? Can you make a comment?
The one on the left. You mean the woman on the left? Yeah. She seems to be leading the conversation at the moment, and everybody seems to be listening.
Good.
Is that what you mean?
Good. Any other friends?
Other things that you notice that could impact a negotiation internationally? What about their clothes? What about the environment? What about the office space? What about their hands and their body language? Do you notice anything there? Not just with a woman, but with anybody?
They're in an enclosed space, again, like we mentioned earlier. So the location is perhaps not suitable for some cultures or usual in some cultures. And they seem to have very relaxed body language.
And I think the gap between the chairs and other chairs are so close. So that means that the atmosphere at the place is very comfortable to talk to each other.
Good. Very good.
In this picture, the environment is very friendly, and the girl, the curly hair, she's like showing that she's very inspired from her idea, from the woman on the left, and yeah, this is the main.
Yeah,
They,
exactly.
and they also have their hands on the table, like everyone has their hand on the table. So it looks like they're having a really interesting or their conversation, or they're just too comfortable. Like really
Yeah.
comfortable.
Notice
Ex-
many different details. Some of the details that you may think are small or things that you might not even notice can have an impact on other people in negotiations. For example, the clothes that they're wearing, not having a suit, that could be one thing. The idea of having a messy environment with many papers, that could offend some people. The idea of being close to other people could offend other people. But even really small things. When I first came to Asia about 25, 28 years ago, even the style of glasses could impact the negotiation. Some people were allowed to wear round glasses. Some people were allowed to wear square glasses. If you wore the different style, that would offend, like insult the other people. And then the idea of where you sit. Many years ago, some people were saying that women were supposed to be always seated close to the door or close to the kitchen, even in a big open conference room, so they could naturally go get the drinks, the coffees, the snacks, things like that. In North America, in other countries like Canada, that's almost considered illegal to even talk about. So there's a lot of details that can impact the negotiations. So far, we've been talking for getting close to an hour. We're going to go through some of these details quite quickly, talking about different cultural differences and things. I encourage all students to try to get involved. And if we can point out for a brief second, I'm from Canada. I know that there's somebody from the United States here, Gwen and Samaj from the United States. I believe Maria from Mexico. I think that's great. Tobias, were you from, was it Belgium or Germany? Other people, Kavanjani from Sri Lanka, other people from Uzbekistan, from many different countries. It may help everyone to start pointing out some of those things that other people may miss, like really small. For example, how close you are, or the fact, for example, in China, when I went there on many different business meetings, the idea of not giving everyone, not just drinks, but snacks also was considered rude. You were supposed to feed the visitor much more than the visitor can eat. And so you're not only supposed to give everyone a drink, you're supposed to give them snacks too, more than they can eat. If you don't do that, that was considered insulting. Versus in Canada, if somebody gives you something, you're supposed to finish all of it. And just by standard, if the Canadian gets something, he has to finish it whether he likes it or not. And by Chinese standard, if somebody finishes it, you have to give them more. If they don't finish it, that's the sign that you were generous and that's kind. If they do finish it, that means that you didn't feed them enough. Both of those could be insulting other people. So if you guys can share aspects from your cultures that may impact people to help with the cross-cultural communications and negotiations, that would be good. So we can go through this quite quickly.
Yeah, very good, Professor Singh. So we have already discussed about environment. Many images we have shown and discussed. So it is responsibility of the negotiator or hosting country to feel like friendly environment, feel like comfort, so that each and everyone actually feeling friendly and like that. So this is the environment. So when we sit for the negotiations, so environment like that, in this friendly environment, in this pleasant environment, everyone actually express their opinion, express their views, express their points in very comfort manner. And it is very easy to reach on mutual agreement. So this is the means of environment, like that. So all you are aware, when actually nations or any other entity, not I am talking about corporate, some diplomatic negotiation, I am talking about diplomacy. So all you are aware, with both the country A and country B are not friendly nation, not have friendly environment, say so must choose some neutral country to discuss. Not I am going in your country, not you are going in my country. We should some third country, neutral country. In this way, both the party feeling equality and neutral feeling. Then only we can create good environment, conducive environment, and easy to reach on mutual agreement. And of course, this is very much important. Characteristics of effective negotiator. This is very much important. Because character not only depends on your educational background. Other things also matter. Observant, patience, adaptability, and good listener. These are the few characteristics of effective negotiator. You have to observe the climate. What is the climate inside the negotiation room or negotiation table? First, you observe any friendly environment or any hot environment, and accordingly, you have to plan your affairs. So it is very necessary to observant skills you have. Patience also, very good listener. You have to listen patiently what other parties are saying. Then only you should plan your affairs. And of course, no doubt, when you are sitting on negotiation table, so definitely you should be mentally sharp. Because during that time, you do not have access to your official documents and other communication support. It is very difficult. Okay. Because when we sit for negotiation in closed door room or closed door hall, so it is very difficult to get official document and some literature and some immediate communication with your boss. So you should be mentally sharp so that you are able to take a decision quickly. So these are the few characteristics of effective negotiator. And after this is also very much important, protocol. So you have any idea about protocol? This is the question to us, friends. Protocol. As I am writing. Protocol. I have written in chat box. Students,
I see that you wrote protocol, yes?
yeah, protocol. I want to listen from our students. They have any opinion or any idea about protocol, our students?
Are there any participants here today from anywhere in the world that are aware of specific protocols that should be followed? For example, in Korea, people usually follow the chief with a delegation, the head person. However, at the same time, some people go ahead in front to start the room, get the room ready, things like that. Usually also the top person with the most power would sit traditionally at the far side of the room facing everyone else. Those types of things for negotiations are part of protocol. Is there anyone here that can add to that? What are some other protocols, perhaps in other countries?
Can we understand like protocol is similar with the procedure? I don't clearly understand what protocol is.
Yeah.
Procedures or steps to doing things or regular ways of doing negotiations and meetings. Are you aware of any specifics popular in Korea or Mexico or any other countries in the world? Are you aware of any specifics?
So, okay, our friends want to say? Okay, no issue. So actually, when you are going or sit for intercultural negotiations, so definitely you should follow the protocol. As Professor seen, this is the ideal practice. Suppose South Korea, Indian style also. If head of the company or top boss actually heading with delegates, so definitely they expect they will talk or they will sit with the top boss and like delegate. Okay, like that. So just I am showing one example of this thing. This is the actually means of protocol and this is the means of hierarchy. So this is the ideal practice of negotiations. And this is the Indian style also. And this is follow other countries also. So here actually you find there are no differences. Okay. This is the hierarchy. Suppose take an example. This is seated this guy is seated in the center actually, and this guy. Both are the same level following the protocol. Take an example. If he is the CEO or top boss of the company, chief of the company, here he is the chief of Indian company, both are discussing. So this is the actual means of protocol and following hierarchy also. Okay. Suppose if he is the chief of the company and he is not chief of the company, so this is not proper protocol. So protocol means hierarchy, following hierarchy also. So good. So protocol like that. So all you are aware, different country having different types of protocol. You have to follow face-to-face strategy. Most of the countries actually using this face-to-face strategy. This is important. And of course, the role of media. We have actually discussed about perception. So all you are aware, media playing very crucial role for making perception. Because television, radio, electronic media, print media, social media, all responsible for making perception. If I have perception to some country and some corporate, so definitely role of media is important. How I aware about climate or other things, culture of South Korea? Of course, with the media only. So media playing very crucial role. And of course, when we sit for negotiations, so always personal context considered. I have already given example of Ratan Tata and Ford Motor chairman. This is the first personal construct. Actually, during that time, might be Ford Motor chairman feel like Ratan Tata is very ordinary man. Okay, just coming, just begging. So this is the mismatch actually. So you should also consider personal constructs. And this is specifically targeting India. As I said, actually, this is the ideal practice of negotiation style in India. First one, relationship rule. When actually you want to negotiate in India or Indian companies, so definitely they look for longer duration of time, not for short duration of time, longer duration of time. So here actually, especially in India, relationships are an essential part of Indian culture. Suppose you want to negotiate for shorter duration of time, not a single company interested with you. Okay. First parameter is to make long-term relationship. Okay. And what is the ideal practice? As Professor Seen also said, when you coming to India or you invited to Indian delegate, so definitely negotiation table filled with snacks, tea, coffee, and whatever drink. Okay. That is necessary. Then only you can make or reach on fruitful discussions and agreement. So this is the negotiation style followed in India. So long-term relationship important. This is the traditional Indian style, hierarchy, protocol, and all things. Any comment on this photograph or twins?
We are needing class. Are there any students that have any special questions about this photo or to Professor Rajesh about international negotiations?
May I ask a question? He mentioned that the protocols follows hierarchy. I don't understand. May I ask for further clarification? Like,
Exactly. See, actually protocol, as Professor Seen also said, protocol means, suppose take an example, if you are heading the delegate for negotiation, so what is your position? Suppose you are CEO of your company and other managers with you going to negotiate with Indian company. So here, what is the means of protocol? Your counterpart or Indian company must be represented with the CEO at the same level like you.
So to help what they're talking about, the students were asking, what does the protocol mean and what is the negotiation connection? So the aspect of protocol, what we're talking about is when you go into negotiations, especially with people from other cultures, you have to understand what they think is normal. So some people think when you do a negotiation, we should do it like this and this and this, and we should have to do this first and next and next and next. For example, as I was saying, many people in Asia, they think for big negotiations, the leader should be here from one team. This is one team. The person on their right is the next most powerful person from this team. And the person opposite them is the most powerful person from the other team. Anyone that sits in those seats by mistake is showing you don't care and you're disrespectful to the other people. So if you go to a country that has that protocol for seating arrangements and you sit in the top person's place by mistake and you are not the top person, that's showing everyone that you don't care. It's not important. Another thing, for example, protocol could be that, as you can see here, during a big meeting, a good negotiation, everyone is supposed to be given drinks or coffee or tea. If you're not giving it to people, that's disrespectful. If you finish everything, that's respectful protocol in Canada, but in China, it's a sign of sort of disrespect that you didn't give them enough. Another thing is when you serve the details, serving the drinks or the snacks, you're supposed to give the drinks or the snacks to the most powerful person first and the least powerful person last. Things like that. Those are steps in protocol. So are there any steps that you know in your country or in any country? Do you know certain steps for negotiation protocol?
Exactly, Professor Singh, exactly. And especially in India, this is also practicing where actually women seated in negotiation table. So definitely in some cases, actually women will be given preference for serving the these things, any snack, tea, coffee. Means first we have to serve to the woman delegate member. This is also practicing. But what is the Professor seen? This is also protocol. First serve drink, snacks, tea, coffee to the head or most powerful person. After this, their counterpart. After this, least person, least powerful, like that. So this is the means of protocol. This is the means of hierarchy also. Yeah. So tell me, your friends, any other questions?
Anybody else in our international group can share something that might be special in your country that might not be noticed in other countries? Tobias, did you have a comment? I saw that you just made a list before you leave. What might be normal in your country, Tobias, that might not be normal in another country? No, Tobias might have left. What about?
Okay, we will continue. No issue.
Okay, Rajesh.
Can,
Yeah.
Go ahead, wrap up.
Hello.
In our country, for example, it's also common to like invite opposite side when they agree on the agreement, so they can invite them for the dinner or for the lunch. However, that one thing is that you should have to consider that our country is most like Islamic one, so you don't have to offer any alcohol. So it's like kind of difference between other cultures.
Yeah, good, good. So this is actually cultural difference. Yeah. So this is also protocol. If somewhere actually or some country drink is not allowed to serve, and if someone serve the drink, so this is not proper protocol. They have to follow the culture also. Yeah. So very good. And this is negotiating with Mexico. This is also important. So here also I have said India. So relationship having matter. Here also relationship and connections are very important. Okay. And senior executive make the decision. So when you sit for negotiation, so senior executive must be there so that on a spot actually they can sign the document or make a decision. So these are the different things. Negotiations, and these are the different countries actually having different kinds of negotiation style. So Brasilia rather emotional, they are non-confrontation and face saving. Canada also well informed and analytical, sense of self-determination and trust. So these are US negotiators focus on completing the deal, profit oriented, and tend to be informal, individually oriented, and work during meals, goal at any time. As Professor Singh also said, this is the ideal practice of US negotiator. Dining table, during playing, while you are playing golf also, they can negotiate many deals. Okay, so this is the US style, and this is the Chinese cooperative approach. And this is French approach. You should be very knowledgeable. That is required. And this is Germany. Yeah, very serious, They are very serious in negotiations, and this is South Korea, as Professor Seen, I think very well explained South Korea negotiation style. So rank and status are very important there. Need to match the South Korean team. Must follow protocol and hierarchy also, and harmony is important. So this is the pleasant style, pleasant ending of negotiation, happily ending of negotiation. So this is the end of the negotiation. So actually your negotiation style should be like that. So reach on that image. All party, all entities actually feeling happy. They sign the document, reach on the mutual agreement, and all become happy. That is the important and crucial for the mutual agreement. Okay.
Thank you very much for your presentation.
Yeah. Thanks, Professor C. Yeah.
We'll have to leave for other classes soon. Are there any questions from any students about international negotiations, especially from Canada, from Korea, from India, from Mexico, Bangladesh, any of those areas? Any specific questions before we leave today?
Actually, I want to hear from a student side.